I met a man 2 years ago and we started dating. This man was very cold to me. He showed no sign of love or genuine emotions, but I stayed. He was emotionally unavailable and he treated me like I meant absolutely nothing to him. I would like to drop few things I went through 3 weeks after we started dating. His son came to Nigeria. He has a 3-year-old son living in Canada with his mom. I love this kid like my own. So I'm only going to mention him because of this one thing that happened one Sunday morning. He went to church with his son. He called me after church to inform me he was taking his son to the mall. Mind you, I was at his place, so I asked if he could get me a cup of ice cream. He said the weather is so cold due to the rain that fell, so I did not need a cup of ice cream. I didn't read any meaning to it until he came back home with a cup of ice cream in his son's hands. Of course, I had no issue with him buying a cup of ice cream for his son, but I was very observant to note that the reason he didn't get me one wasn't because the weather was cold, but because he just didn't want to get me one. If the weather was cold, why did he get a 3-year-old an ice cream? I'm mentioning this story for a reason. What will it cost him to get a cup of ice cream that just costs 1,000 naira for a girl he claimed he loves? As time passed, if I visited his house and took a bottle of 200 naira Fanta from his fridge, he would rain insults on me. I would be in his house and he would go out, then come back home and give me a plate of food he bought for himself to put in the fridge without even giving me one. Can you imagine? I will use his towel and he will rain insults on me. Mind you, this dude in question is very financially stable. He maltreated me so terribly. Trust me, even maids don't get treated terribly as he treated me. This man told me I was his dream woman in the beginning. This man told me he loved me in the beginning, but immediately we started dating, everything changed. For 6 months, I went from being a very light-skinned, beautiful girl to a dark and ugly due to depression. My friends and sister who were at my house for a month during my relationship with him saw how affected I was. I stopped eating for days and they begged me to leave him, but I couldn't. I loved him deeply. Some people may think I was with him for his money, but even him have testified that he knows I was never with him for his money. In these 6 months, we dated before he migrated to the US. I only begged him for money once in 6 months and he gave me 15,000 naira. In these 6 months, he ghosted me and returned over 5 times. 1 week before he migrated out of Nigeria, I discovered I was 6 weeks pregnant. Oh my God. I would have understood if he asked me not to keep it. Because he was migrating, I didn't know what the future had. But this man decided to beg and deceived me. I offered to take off the pregnancy. He refused. I agreed to keep it and even went ahead to buy all the supplements I needed. Immediately he traveled. He barely called me. Then one day he told me he spent the night with his ex in the UK. I was pregnant and my man said he was with another woman, but they didn't sleep together. I got upset and asked him why would he even tell me this, even if he had spent the night with his ex. If he had any respect for me, he wouldn't say that to my face. I forgave this man and continued with the relationship. Then one night he called me at 12 midnight and broke up with me, saying he didn't think he wanted a long distance relationship anymore and could no longer be with me, just like how he left me months back. I was broken, my world shattered. In my very eyes, I decided to keep, but I wasn't eating for weeks. I barely spoke. I barely went out my house. I disappeared from work. I asked my sister to leave. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. I was dying inside. I woke up one day to blood all over my body. I had lost my baby due to severe dehydration and extreme stress. This man came back when he was sure that I may no longer be pregnant. I still took him back. He started doing the same long distance relationship he had earlier left me, stating he couldn't handle. Within this period, I lost my job, and for 6 months, I was unemployed and broke. I was trying so hard to live without a job, which was the only means of income. Life was so hard for me. But there was never a day this man said to me, take this 1,000 naira to get something to eat. Rather, he mocked me in my situation. Irrespective of how rich he was, the man never for one day offered to help me, even though he saw me suffering. I never asked for help, because if he saw how hard life was for me and did not offer to help me, there was no need asking. The only time I asked for 20,000 naira during this period, he told me he had no money, but still proceeded to video call me and showed me the soya he was eating in America, which he bought for $30. I asked him, you knew I was starving and I asked you for help. You couldn't help me, but you are calling me to show me this. The whole story is so long, but we broke up for months and recently got back. He's seriously proposing marriage. I notice he's trying to change and be a better man. He talks to me better. He's emotionally available now. He's sweet and sends me money without me asking. He's trying to get me to travel out of Nigeria to the US to join him. I recently started a deeper conversation with him to see how he thinks, and he mentioned that no man owes his girlfriend money or support, that if a man does, that is a privilege. The truth is, I was never with this man for the money. If I was, he had already shown me pepper in the early days of our relationship that I would have find difficult to see his 5 kobo. But I still stayed with this man irrespectively. Recently, I've been a bit cold to him. I keep asking myself, if he knew he would come back to marry me, why did he abandon me with his child. And he didn't care when I lost the pregnancy. I don't know how people get over this loss of the child, but it still haunts me. I can't sleep. I miss my baby bump. I miss the kick in my stomach. By now my baby would have been 6 months old. I don't know what to do. I can't seem to shake off how he treated me. The truth is that every time he turned his back on me and left me, I still loved him. I was always the same woman I was in the beginning whenever he came back. But this time around, something in me has died towards him. I am trying hard to find it. It's so hard. I still love him, but I am no longer in love with him. These are two different things, to love and to be in love. How do I marry a man who has shown me that if I was dying, he won't save me? How would I marry a man who saw I had absolutely nothing to even eat and I was having accommodation issues, but he never helped me? A man who treated me with so much disgust. I started to look at myself differently in the mirror, thinking something was wrong with me. How can I ever trust this man who has walked out on me over 20 times, even during my pregnancy? How can I trust that this man won't break me apart if I end up with him? How can I make sure this man will ever make me happy? I know I am not entitled to his money, and neither was I in for his money. But what kind of a person will have their bucket filled with water and watch even their enemy die of thirst? He recently discovered I have some money and was shocked. He said to me that he thought I had absolutely nothing to my name. Not even a penny. I kept asking myself if this man thought I was penniless and could not help me, even with as little as possible, if not because I'm his girlfriend, but at least because I'm human and I once carried his child. How many people here will have a pot of food and watch their neighbor die of starvation? But this man watched me have the money he recently discovered I had proceeds from the little car gift I got, which I sold. So truly, I was starving. Why he treated me that way? I have so many what ifs in my head at this moment. He's proposing marriage. I love this man, but I'm scared that if I end up with him, he will maltreat me. I am scared that I may not live a happy and fulfilled life. I'm scared that what I saw earlier in our relationship, even in my trying times when I was pregnant, not even a little gift for my baby. I am scared that what I saw earlier in our relationship and every other time, except recently he started acting nicely, will be what I will endure for the rest of my life. I don't feel my heart's future and life is safe with this man. Am I wrong? Please advise me as bluntly as you can. I want to know if I'm getting all this wrong. I'll be in the comment section. Thank you.